Hello, everybody. My name is Hatim Badin. I work with Henry Donan Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, HD in short. It's my pleasure to be here today with you at Paris Peace Forum and show our presentation. Yes, hello once again. I'm sorry for that technical glitch. As I mentioned, my name is Hatim Badin, and I am delighted to be here today with you to pitch our program, which is in supporting peaceful transition in Sudan. As you know, Sudan has been through a historic change with December 2018 revolution that brought an end to a 30 years dictatorship in Sudan and led to a transition government jointly between the military and the civilian. And this transition is hoped to conclude into full civilian, full and complete civilian rule in the near future, hopefully. Our program name is Supporting a Peaceful and Inclusive Transition in Sudan. And this program has been generously funded by the European Union, ICSP. The duration of the program is 18 months. And I would like to highlight here that as most, if not all of you have experienced, because of the COVID-19 challenges and the impact that we are all experiencing, we encountered challenges in terms of timelines and implementation of the project. However, we are coping now and adapting, and we are hopeful to be delivering within the scheduled time. Now, who is HD, or who are we? HD is a leading private diplomacy organization, a Swiss-based organization. It was established in 1999, and it operates in more than 40 countries. It's founded on the three principles that we see: humanity, impartiality, and independence. HD's vision is to reduce the suffering caused by armed conflict worldwide through dialogue and mediation. And its mission is to help prevent, mitigate, and resolve armed conflict through dialogue and mediation. I would like to bring to your attention that you would see two words that are in both our vision and mission. That's dialogue and mediation. And these are the areas that HD is specialized in, its niche, dialogue and mediation. Now we move into HD's presence and operation in Sudan, past and present. HD started working in Sudan or in Sudanese issues since 2003 with the eruption or the start of Darfur conflict, and continued engagement in 2005 with negotiations and the signing of the comprehensive peace agreement, and the implementation process that followed until 2011 with the cessation of South Sudan. Here, I would like to note that HD wasn't welcomed to Sudan by the previous regime and had to operate from outside Sudan. In the present times and after the successful revolution and the establishment of the transition government, HED had a discussion and consultations with key Sudanese actors. And these discussions identified areas that are recommended for HED to work on in Sudan. And namely, these are to try to work on strengthening the transitional process and political institutions, in addition to addressing the question of transitional justice, and to engage with the non-signatory of the peace agreement, in addition to work on or trying to work on strengthening the economy, Sudanese economy, which is in real bad shape. Uh, so following these discussions and highlighting or identification of the areas that HED would work on, HED developed a program, 18-month program, as we already mentioned, to provide initial support to the transition in Sudan. The reason I'm saying that it's initial because the duration of the transition is 39 months, while the entire project time is 18 months. So there is no way the project can cover the entire period. And here I would like also to highlight that the 39 month is or has already started in August last year, 2019. However, with the signing of Cuba agreement last month, there is a provision that is stating this 39-month should be starting with the signing of the agreement. And accordingly, this should have the countdown for the transition should have started last month. So this program has three core pillars. The first one is bridging the gap between the center and the periphery. And this is on the recognition that there is huge disconnect between the center, Khartoum, and the states. This is actually throughout the history of Sudan, and could be one of the main causes of the conflicts in many areas, such as Darfur, Blue Nile, and South Kordofan. And as we see, the sub-objective of this pillar is working on preventing potential future outbreak of violence, and to strengthening the transition through making it more inclusive. The second pillar is providing support or institutional support to political transition. And on this pillar, HED, or we are working with ministries and commissions, and namely we are working with the Ministry of Federal Governance, which is the ministry that is mandated with issues related to the relationship between the states and the center, in addition to oversight over the native administrations. We also work with the Ministry of Justice, which is in charge of or mandated with the establishment of the Transitional Justice Commission that is yet to be established. And we work with, or we are planning to work with two commissions that are yet to be established. As I mentioned, one of them is Transition Justice Commission, and the Peace Commission as well. The third, last but not the least, component is the support for the political dialogue and mediation, which is still ongoing. And even now with the signing of Juba Agreement, there are non-signatories that need to join the process at a later stage. So what are our expected outcomes, or what do we hope to achieve from this intervention? I can say that we would hope to have better channels of communication created for the different stakeholders of the transition, and this will lead to a better inclusion in the process. We also hope as an outcome to achieve that the ownership for this transition is broadened. And we also hope that the violence or the escalation of the violence is prevented or mitigated. And this is mainly through better, of course, representation and a sense of ownership from the periphery and the different stakeholders. We continue for our outcomes. We also hope or work towards achieving better or more capacity for the government to deal specifically with two issues, that is transitional justice and security sector reforms. And the transitional justice is a new concept for Sudan, and we believe it is important to have an idea or exposure for the different experiences from within the region and even if from outside. The same should go for the security sector reform, especially with the fact that there are many arms in Sudan, and with the rebel groups joining the peace agreement, each one of them will be coming with its army. So there is a huge need for this SSR process. We also hope for to capacitate the governmental institutions to deliver both on services and policies as required. And an example for one of these institutions mentioned here is the Peace Commission, but that would go for other commissions and ministries as well. So the overall outcome, or the main objective of the program, would be to have the 39-month transition period concluded successfully, leading to a democratic, stable, and peaceful Sudan. And this is not just one entity role. It should be, and actually role of multiple partners in Sudan and outside Sudan. But this is the objective, to have this transition period concluded and comes to conclusion in with civilian rule, democratic and stable Sudan. So now, how do we do it? What are our actions? We will be convening 8 town hall meetings in the states, and actually in the center of the regions, four regions. And these town hall meetings will bring representatives from the center as well as the states to help bridge the gap that we already talked about. And this will be a platform to exchange views and come to a common understanding about different issues. We would also hold 4 workshops for women and youth. And I think here I can refer to the photo. You will see women and youth have played a very strong role in the success of the revolution, the Sudanese revolution. However, when it came to the participation and representation in the transitional government and institutions, their percentage wasn't to adequate or acceptable level. So we believe that through workshops, they will have an opportunity for better organization and opportunity to voice their their demands and their voice in general. We would also be providing technical institutional support around the two areas, as we already mentioned, SSR and the transitional justice. And here we will try to make available to the Sudanese institutions expertise from similar contexts, as well as experts that they can support them in these two areas. We will also be supporting the peace process and providing technical support to the implementation of the peace agreement. Here, I would like to mention that the signed peace deal has not included all rebel groups, and there are key or influential rebel leaders that are outside this. And namely, I would mention Abdulaziz Al-Hilu, who is the leader of the SPLM North, Sudan People Liberation Movement, and who's in South Kordofan, and Abdul Wahid Muhammad Noor, the leader of the Sudan Liberation Movement, and in Darfur. And it's important to keep engaging and bringing them into signing the peace deal for a comprehensive peace agreement in Sudan. So now for the future, we are conscious of the fact that 18 months, of course, won't be enough to provide the required maybe support, but as I mentioned, as initial or first step, that would be a good start point. But we would need to continue on doing some of the additional work. So we will focus on supporting peace and mediation initiatives at both national and as well as community level. We would also be to support the peace and better inclusion throughout Sudan. We will be working on providing more platforms for the voices and aspirations of the different stakeholders. And this would mean convening and having more town hall meetings, because at the end of the day, just 8 town hall meetings in entire Sudan won't be sufficient. We will need to do more, and more thematic workshops that can address different issues. We would also continue to support like raising the voice of women and youth and the marginalized groups in general. And this is again will be through more facilitation of dialogue and workshop. At this point, I would come to the end of my presentation, my pitch. I would like to thank you all so much for attending this presentation. I would be having about 10 minutes and during this 10 minutes, I will check if there are questions. We will try to answer and address them. So, okay, we've got a question here saying phase of the implementation of the project is 18 months. Is it enough to ensure a peaceful transition? The answer is definitely no. It will not be sufficient or enough, but as I said, it is a starting point, and we hope that we'll be in a position to continue along with other partners to conclude the transition period successfully. The second question would be how many population benefit from this program? Do you also work in cooperation with NGOs that conduct negotiations on front line? Okay, interesting question. To be honest, we haven't mapped out or did a survey on the number of the people who can benefit from this project, but we would consider it to be Sudan-wide and benefit the larger part of the population of the Sudanese. But maybe after the conclusion of the project, we can do a survey to gauge that exactly. Yes, we do work with collaborate with different organizations, similar organizations that they are work on not necessarily the ones that working on the front line, but different different partners, INGOs, local INGOs, as well as international INGOs. The next question would be, how is the work of the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue perceived by local population? So far, I would say positively, because as I mentioned, we've just started the timelines that for our project is February 2020 to August 2021. But we were delayed 4 months, so we just started barely 6 months. But so far, it's very positive. Okay. The next question, do you manage to negotiate with armed group in the front line in order to ensure the protection of civilians? Not under this project, but this could be a potential future. Actually, it does such kind of negotiation, but not in this context or under this project in Sudan. Do you manage to negotiate with armed groups on the front? Sorry, the same question. Right. How do you conduct humanitarian access through dialogue and mediation? Due to the nature of the intervention so far here, there are no hard or out of reach areas that we are working on to do these negotiations for access. But again, HED is doing it in other locations and especially other contexts, especially in South Sudan. And other question, how do you link the Darfur and two areas conflict? Sorry, where did this question? How do you link Darfur and the two areas to the initiative? Do you need a comprehensive approach? Yes, I would like to say it's this initiative is flexible. HED does not dictate or impose a solution on the different stakeholders, and we believe that though there might be some common issues, but each context may be different. And we just facilitate and try to guide where required or needed, but the issues are different. So overall, as a piece, it will have to link up two areas and Darfur, but the discussions on the town hall meetings will vary according to the issues for each location. Okay, so what are the main factors of instability in the country? What will be the biggest challenges in implementing the project? Okay, this is a very good question. The main factors instability in the country, as we mentioned, the marginalization or whether it's real or perceived. Some large groups feel that they are not included in the process of the transition. Also, there is the potential, the conflicts that are unresolved, tribal issues. There are the economy issues. So there are multiple factors. I apologize. There are many questions. I'm trying just to run through them because I'm aware that I'm almost yeah, within the time is okay. So how okay center population. Okay, this question. The biggest okay. Okay, so yeah, the biggest challenges in implementing, of course, the project is would be sometimes it's because of the situation, logistic. Other times, still the bureaucracy in some areas, and of course, again, as we said, like the duration and like the potential, because you know that you need to cover so much, but the scope of the project is not might not cover all at this stage. Okay. One, two, according to you, what can leverage good humanitarian negotiations with local communities in order to bring peace through dialogue and mediation? I would say ownership, local ownership, and to give the people the chance to view the solution from their own perspective. It's Sudanese. It should be Sudanese-led initiative. That's what we consider. Maybe from our side, we can share with them other experiences, but it should be a led. All right, I've got notification. I've got about 5 minutes or less. Um, Okay. How do you promote, okay, those meetings or workshops? We work through a core team at the center that we have partnered with. They represent different Sudanese at different strata, being political activists and civil society organizations and those who are having interest in the different issues around the country. They will help us in having the workshops, uh, designing the workshops, and the meetings in the states. Um, okay, what reforms are envisaged are in the security sector? Very good question. They are because there is this process of we need to have a DDR process. In addition to that, some of these security or military, they need to have a doctrine. You need to bring them into one army. Some of them are they work as when they come out, they work as militia. So huge reform and understanding of their roles really need to be done. Um, do we have? Okay. I think this. Okay. All right. Okay. So far, I think yeah, these are all questions. I've got 1 minute. In this minute, I would like to thank you all again for this interactive session. I hope I managed to give you an idea about this important program that we believe can really help in the transition for in Sudan for to democracy and peaceful Sudan. And I really look forward to interact with as many of you as possible. Please feel free to reach me at my contacts are there. And thank you. Meet you at some point.